Do I have sound? Sound check, check, sound check, check, check. Woo! Check, check, sound, check, check, sound. Hopefully I have sound. I don't have any viewers yet, so I can't know for sure if I have sound yet or not, but let me explain. This is the Comic Hall. This is my show. I try to do weekly, but the last couple times it's been bi-weekly because of various reasons, whatever. The one 2 weeks ago was the first one I ever did for the new YouTube Live, and I had no sound. I still had 25 views, so thank you guys for viewing me just going. Hopefully you're reading the CC underneath there. Anyway, I hope I didn't freak out anybody. I was like, no, I should have sound. I should have sound because I've done my other show, Dylan Knows. I've done a couple of them. Hey, I got a viewer. Viewer, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Here I am. Sound check, because the last time, no sound. Oh, well. If you can hear me, you can tweet me at Holidill, HOLIDILL. And I shall see it on my phone, me phone. This is the Comic Hall, and hopefully everybody can hear me now. Again, this is a 2-week one. I forget why I didn't do it last week. I think I didn't get my comics till Friday because of financial things. So I couldn't get my comics till Friday. And I think I missed a couple, or I didn't miss a couple. There was a cover I didn't want to get, but I had to. It was the only one they had left. That was 2 weeks ago. So that's why last week I got my comics on Friday. I just never got around to getting a show done because I was doing my show on Saturday. And something came up Friday night. I forget what it was. And I lost my last viewer. Oh, well. They're probably like, we can't hear him. Yes, you have sound. Thank you, Scott. That was you. Thank you. L'chaim. Anyway, so this is 2 weeks worth of comics. So it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. So I'm going to try to just get out of here and try to get underneath an hour. So we'll see what happens. There's a lot of stuff, though. There's a lot of cool stuff. So this one is the haul from last week, the week of September 21st. There they are right there. Again, in order of company, DC first, Marvel, then Independence. For at least the next couple months, there's going to be Rebirth. Rebirth is still going strong, so you're still going to have #1s and Rebirth #1s, stuff like that. So we start off with a couple #1s from last week. Again, these 2 weeks ago. This is Trinity #1. This is a monthly book, and it features this team-up book between Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. It's written by Francis Manapul and drawn by Francis Manapul. From what I've heard, I haven't read it yet, but I heard it's really, really good. You get Wonder Woman carrying a boar, Batman with bats, and then they have a full-page Superman. Yep, there he is. Full-page Superman right there. So, you know, Francis Manapul wrote the New 52 Flash and did really well with that. And this one, they're starting a little differently with having them just all meet up to have dinner. Because for those who don't know, the Superman in the Trinity here is not the New 52 Superman. The New 52 Superman is dead. He died. This is the Superman from the pre-New 52, pre-Flashpoint, all that stuff, who's married to Lois Lane and has a son named John. All this is being played out in his 2 books, Superman and Action. Superman's fantastic. We'll talk about Superman in a few minutes. But Trinity #1, it looks good. Francis Manapul's pretty good at what he does. He's a good writer, pretty good artist, passable, and you know, getting a book that has Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman working together, why not? Once again, these are all books that came out on the 21st, last weekend. So your store may or may not have these. They should still have them. My store has at least 2 or 3 months worth of books up on their shelves before they take them down and put them to back issue a lot. So hopefully they'll have some. This is one I just wanted to get to #1. I've been doing that for all the New 52s, or not the Rebirth books, but I'm probably not going to keep reading it because I need to cut down on my comics. I spent a shit ton of money the last 2 weeks, and start October I can't do it because I got to start saving my car and other stuff you need to worry about. But it is #1, and it doesn't mean I didn't like it. It's just it's not that interesting to me as some of this other stuff is. It's Cyborg #1. It's written. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the creative team or the character or whatever. It's just it's not really for me. I mean, I might end up reading it and say, hey, this is actually pretty awesome. It's written by John Semper Jr. with art by Paul Pelletier, and Tony Cordos and Scott Hanna are the inkers. Pelletier is a very very good and decent artist. And I don't know much about Semper, but Cyborg is, an interesting character. He's a member of the Justice League and not Teen Titans, unlike the Teen Titan Go fans out there. He also is going to be in the Justice League movies, and he's going to have his own movie eventually also. So Cyborg #1. Again, this is probably going to be the last you're going to see of Cyborg from my perspective. Not that it's a bad book, as I said, go read it and find out for yourself. You like it, you like it. You don't, you don't. End of story. As I was talking about Superman, one of the books that actually is surprising me at how good it is Superman. Superman #7, newest issue came out. This is the variant cover. It is a one-off, one-shot. The first storyline ended. The first story arc ended. The second one's getting ready to start. So this one has Clark and his family just going to the fair. Still a little bit of Superman action, but it's really nice artwork. Who did the artwork on this one then? It was written by Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason, with art by George Jimenez. And it's actually really, really good looking stuff. So it's one of those books that, Tomasi is really good at writing relationship stories. And the basic premise of this one is just the characters. It's just having them interact, at a state fair, and having to, and Clark promising that he's not going to use his powers to spend time with his family. Is he going to be able to keep it? Do it. We'll see. But it's a thing. It's a good story arc, and it's a good character piece, and it's really good, and it's a great series, and I'm really excited for it. It's one of the ones I've read consistently. That one, and this one, Green Lanterns #7. Its first story arc ended at issue #6. So this one's another one of those like one-offs where we're just trying to get things together. It's written by Sam Humphries with art by Ronan Cliquet. Actually, this is part 1 of a storyline called Family Matters. So it's Simon Baz is one of the Green Lanterns. He's the one with the broken, not him, the one with the broken arm and cooking. That's Simon Baz. He's one of the Green Lanterns. And then this is Jessica over here. She's the other Green Lantern on the cover here. But it's, it's a good team book. 2 Green Lanterns working together, patrolling. They've created something called the Phantom Ring, which should be really interesting, that anybody can use it. You're not chosen. You just are going to do it. And it's just another like character piece while setting things up for a storyline. So again, nice artwork, good storyline, and it's one I've been keeping up with consistently also. The Batman family of books is having the first official Rebirth crossover. And last week, when these books came out, 9/21, it started with one, I think, that's just going amongst one issue of all the Bat family books this month, and then it'll go to their next storylines next month. It's the Rise of the Monster Men Part 1. So this is Batman #7, Rise of the Monster Men #1. Nice Tim Sale cover. The story is by Steve Orlando and Tom King. Script by Steve Orlando. Pencils and inks by Riley Rossmo. So you're going to get all of Batman's families all together in one book, taking on giant monsters. Creepy, freaky. No, not her. She's hot. No, not. She's hot. He's not. Freaky monsters. Excuse me. So Batman and his family taking on monsters is basically the story arc for this one. That's part 1. Part 2 is Nightwing. Nightwing #5, right? Yep, Nightwing #5, where apparently Nightwing looks like he's being turned into a monster. This Steve Orlando seems to be the guy who is writing everything, and he's teaming up in the story with the people who write the book. So in this case, Steve Orlando and Tim Seeley wrote the story. Steve Orlando did the script, and Roge Antonio is the artist. And this is one of those breaks where these books are all like bi-monthly or bi-weekly, I should say. So the artists, the regular artist team, they need to get a jump on some of the later issues. So they're going to have fill-in artists periodically. And this was one of those storylines where you have fill-in artists. So you've got Nightwing, again, is going to be the main focus of the story, but you're going to have the whole Bat family going on, and it's giant monsters. So the third part of it came out this week, and we'll get to that when we talked about this week's book. So those are the first two parts came out this week, or rather 2 weeks ago. The third part came out this week. Even though she's technically part of the Batman family, she is not in any way involved in this story arc. But the newest issue is out. It's Harley Quinn #4. Harley stole the movie in Suicide Squad. There's a big joke that this Halloween, practically every girl or woman out there is going to be dressed as Harley Quinn. It's a possibility. But when you get a book like this, which is fantastic, written by Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Conner, with, in this case, art by Joseph Michael Linsner, who has his own his own creator-owned character named Dawn. It's a good looking book because Joel Michael Linsner knows how to draw women also really well. And it's Harley. Palmiotti and Amanda Conner are knocking this book out of the park. And so I highly recommend, if you want something a little bit different, a little bit fun, Harley Quinn's the book to go for. Plus you get these awesome Amanda Conner covers. Granted, you also get variant covers if you want something different, but I'm an Amanda Conner freak and I love her work. And I wish she would do more artwork inside the book. But you know what? I like the artists they have on there, and having Joseph Michael Linsner as a fill-in artist is muy bueno. All right, here's the one where delaying getting my comics. In this case, I didn't have the money until Friday to buy my comics. Comics come out on Wednesday. I didn't have the money till Friday to buy the comics. In some cases, you lose out on some certain things. Excuse me. In this case, all the DC books have been doing variant books, variant covers, and as well as regular covers. And I needed a copy of Justice League #5 because I've been reading Justice League #5 and I like it. Then with the main cover, because the variant cover was, I'm sorry, Yannick Paquette, is terrible. And not because of the character that's on the cover. It's just a terrible cover, so I'm going to show you in a second. I went to the comic store. All they had was a terrible cover. So Justice League #5. Cyborg solo cover. It's just something about it. I don't like it. And apparently a lot of other people didn't like it either because they were the only books open. But on the inside, it's a bit different. Written by Brian Hitch with art by Tony Daniel and Sandu Florer. Nice Aquaman. Tony Daniel is one of those artists I really, really like a lot also. It's the Justice League. It's Brian Hitch who knows how to do, big time stuff, and good artwork by Tony Daniel. And hopefully we'll continue with some good stuff. So Justice League #5. If you can find the other cover, please, get the other cover. But if you need Justice League 5, it's still okay. That's it for the Rebirth books. Excuse me. This came out last week also, and it's a mini-series, and it's Raven #1. For those who watch Teen Titans Go, Raven is one of the great characters on that cartoon. But if you don't, she's a member of the Teen Titans. She's a young girl whose father is a demon named Trigon, and she gets her own miniseries written by Marv Wolfman, who is actually, I think, the guy who created her. And I got a bonus. See, 1, 2 covers. Not intentional. It's just the way it worked out. It's written by Marv Wolfman with art by Allison Borges. And it's gorgeous. They've turned Raven into kind of a goth girl and had her get adopted by a super white, what's the name of that bread? Miracle bread or whatever, white bread type of thing. But it's gorgeous artwork, and Marv Wolfman is still a really good writer, and Raven is a really good character, and you're going to see a lot more of her coming up in the Teen Titans, which we will talk about later today too. I'll tell you what, but it looks good. The art looks amazing. Allison Borges, your artwork is gorgeous. And Marv Wolfman, it's Marv Wolfman. You can't go wrong with Marv Wolfman. So definitely pick up Raven #1. It's a mini series, so you're not going to have to get, it's not a regular series, like 6 issues, I think. I think you can handle 6 issues. I'm going to handle 6 issues. It looks gorgeous, and I'm excited for it. That is it for DC from last week. Marvel from last week. The big crossover, Civil War II, number 5. I haven't read any of Civil War II yet, but I've heard not really great things about it, and we'll see. But it's Brian Michael Bendis is the writer, Dave Marquez is the artist, and it's basically jumping on the Civil War movie that came out in May and is now on DVD. But a different type of storyline and having the heroes fight each other again. So again, after all this happens, they're going to change up the Marvel Universe again and blah, blah, blah. So getting kind of tired of these, and we'll see what happens. So, ooh, is that a spoiler? Oops. Read the book and find out. This book hasn't been bad. It's been actually pretty good. I've read a couple issues of it. It's Civil War II Choosing Sides. This is the last issue of it. It's basically 3 short stories featuring characters who are not involved in the main Civil War storyline. This issue, we have Jessica Jones, obviously because of her series on Netflix that came out, written by Chelsea Kane with art by Allison Sampson. So you get a all-woman creative team on that, writing a woman. White Fox, who's also a woman. You also get a woman creative team, Christina Strain and Sana Takeda. And the Nick Fury has been in every issue. It's a one big storyline written by Declan Shalvey. So this is the Jessica Jones one, Allison Sampson artwork, Chelsea Kane stuff. And it's also a showcase for artists and writers, who are maybe trying to break into Marvel a little bit, and they get some of their stuff printed and out there, and people get to take a look at it. Here's the White Fox one. Very Middle Eastern, not Middle Eastern, Asian influence. I don't know why I said Middle Eastern. Yeah. And there's White Fox battling. And if you want to see what White Fox looks like, this is what White Fox looks like. And finally, we've got Declan Shalvey, who's a fantastic writer, pretty good, or a fantastic artist, pretty good writer, doing a Nick Fury story with Maria Hill as well. So all kinds of interesting stuff. So this is the last issue of Choosing Sides, which is good because it's expensive. We get 3 stories, though, so it's worth it. Those are the only Civil War stories. There's one other Marvel this week, or 2 weeks ago, I should say. Punisher number 5, Becky Cloonan writer, Steve Dillon artwork. It's the Punisher. Warning, gore. It's gory. It's vicious. It's the Punisher. It's the way it should be. The fact that's written by Becky Cloonan is amazing because she's a really good writer. And the fact that she's writing a Punisher book is actually kind of funny to me. Not enough funny because it's bad, but funny just because, a female's writing a really good Punisher story, which again, I'm not trying to sound sexist. It just, Punisher is a rough and tumble criminal type guy that should kill people, and to have Becky Cloonan, someone who's written a really lot of good stuff and drawn a lot of really good stuff herself as well, just taking on a character like Punisher. That's all I'm saying. Wrapping up the independents for 2 weeks ago, 21st. Valiant is spreading their wings a little bit and they're going outside their Valiant superhero world. I don't know if I'm going to keep up with this, but this one sounded interesting. It's Britannia number 1. Pete Milligan, who I can, he some stuff is good and some stuff isn't, is writing it. Juan Jose Rip, who has done a lot of gory books for different comic companies, as the artist. It's pretty good, gorgeous artwork. It is a bit more violent and nudity wise, more adult when it comes. I can't, some of the stuff I can't even show you. It's more adult than expected, but it's a historical type of story. Like, looks like it takes place in ancient Rome, like a 300 or like a 300 style storyline with lots of gore and sex, and then you get giant freak monsters. So Britannia might be interesting. We'll check it out. We'll see. Looks pretty. A lot of people have been talking about up this book, and I wasn't going to buy it, but I was like, why not? Rick Remender and Jeremy Opena did a series called, I can't remember the name of it now. It's like a space bounty hunter type person. And that ended a while back. And now they're back together again in Seven to Eternity #1. Rick Remender is one of those guys that can create these amazing worldscapes, and Jerome Opena's artwork is just phenomenal, top notch. So I figured, it's a #1. Remender writes a lot of stuff. This is sort of a sci-fi Western fantasy sort of mix, which seems to be a fairly popular genre now. So it looks good, and Remender's a good writer, so it should be a good storyline too. I've read some good reviews about it, so I'm going to check it out. Seven to Eternity. Speaking of crazy creator-owned stuff, Kingsway West #2 came out last week, written by Greg Pak, with art by Mirko Kolak. It's like another one of those fantasy Western type of sci-fi books along the same lines as Seven to Eternity, but this looks good as well. So why not? And it's Greg Pak, who's a pretty good writer, and the artwork looks phenomenal. Another good book from Dark Horse, another creator owned, is Black Hammer, #3. Right, #3. Yep, #3. It's a nice cover. Jeff Lemire and Dean Ormondson are the creative team, and it's again bizarre superhero, sci-fi, Hellboyish type of storytelling. So pretty good. Black Hammer, #3. If you like horror, Aftershock Comics has been doing a really good job. They do the excellent Animosity. This one is back #6. I've collected this one since the beginning. It's based on the urban legend of the black-eyed children who have black eyes and are able to psychically make you do things you don't want to do. It's written by Joe Pruitt with art by Simon Kudransky, who seems to have changed up his artwork a little bit for this issue. If you look back on some of the earlier issues, it looks a little bit different than this, and he's trying something different apparently in this one, which is good. But if it's straight up horror, and as I said, as I'm always trying to say, is there's more to comics. Well, the reason why I do this show is there's more to comics than just superheroes. There's horror and crime books and horror books and stuff like that, and just looking good. So Black Eyed Kids 6. The last one from last week is a great historical fiction book, which I've talked about multiple times on this show, and I'm going to keep talking about how great it is. Manifest Destiny's newest issues out. It's #23. It's written by Chris Dingus. Matthew Roberts does the art with Owen Gianni. On top of that, it was really cool. I mean, it's what you expect. It's Lewis and Clark exploring out west before anybody else did, but instead of just discovering animals like deer and beavers and shit like that, they've been finding supernatural creatures and all kinds of crazy things. So and it's a historical, so because Lewis and Clark are some of the main characters, so is Sacagawea. So they're main characters that are just being used differently than expected. Now, one of the other bonuses about this book is apparently there's going to be a new title coming out called Green Valley, written by Max Landis with artwork by Giuseppe Camuncoli, Cliff Rathburn, and Jean-Francois Boilly. And it's sort of a similar historical fiction type of thing, and actually looks kind of interesting, and I might have to check that out. So but we're not talking about that. We're talking about Manifest Destiny. As I said, a really good story. One of those that I will find trades, get caught up on it, collect the comics, read up on it. It's a good series. That is all the comics for last week. Whoa, we got another one? Yes, we do. We've got another bag of comics here. So let me just put these away. And this is this week's comic haul. So where are we? About half hour in, actually a little bit less than half an hour. So I'm moving right along here. Hopefully it won't be too long. So this is this week's comic haul. See how insane and ridiculous I am with all the shit I'm buying? I need to stop. Someone help me. I need to stop. But there's a lot of good shit out there. You need to check it out. So again, this is all stuff that came out today. So go to your local comic store today. Well, actually, they're probably closed by now. Go tomorrow. Go Friday. Go the weekend. And pick up the stuff or the stuff I just showed you. They should still have it on the wall, depending on your store. As I said, I don't know. All stores are different. My store would still have last week's stuff up there too, unless they sold out of them, obviously. All right. So let's begin again. This time we've got 2 Rebirth books, ones that are set up for the regular series that are to come in a couple weeks. Again, this one I'm probably not going to collect just because I'm not that interested in it, but this looks good. If the artist on this is the artist on the book, I might have to change my mind, but we'll see. It's Batman Beyond, Rebirth #1. Batman Beyond is based on the cartoon series. Batman animated series came out back in the early 90s, was a huge hit. And after a while, it got so successful, they did a Superman 1 and Justice League Unlimited. They did a Batman Beyond also, which is basically, I think it was like 20 years in the future because Batman's still alive, but he's an old man now, and he ends up training a new guy, Terry McGinnis. And he became fairly popular, had his own animated series for a while. And then it disappeared, but people still wanted more adventures of him, so they made a comic of him in DC. And then when they did the New 52, they changed it up a little bit. They got rid of him, made him one of the main characters that led to the formation of the New 52, and either killed him off or did something to him, Terry McGinnis. And they put Tim Drake in the future to become Batman Beyond, which was a good idea at the time. But now we're back to Terry McGinnis. As I said, I don't know if I'm going to stick with this. I'm probably not, but it's a Rebirth #1. I'll probably buy issue #1 when it comes out, whenever. But it's written by Dan Jurgens, and the art for the Rebirth issues is Ryan Sook, who doesn't really do a lot of artwork because it takes him forever to do it. But look how gorgeous it is. The funny thing about Ryan Sook is Ryan Sook started off as a Mike Mignola clone, and eventually found his own style. A little bit of still some Mignola-esque stuff in it, a little bit, but it's his own style now, and it's completely different. So now we get future Batman, with Barbara Gordon as the commissioner, and other stuff as well, and Joker, bad guys, and stuff like that. So your typical stuff you're used to. But Batman Beyond #1, Rebirth #1. So we'll see if I stick with the series. If Ryan Sook's doing the artwork, I might have to, but I highly doubt he is, because he really doesn't do like weekly or monthly books that much, because he's just one of those artists that just takes a lot of time doing stuff, which is nothing wrong with that. It's fine. But it's so funny watching him change from being a Mike Mignola clone to something else completely different, and still looking pretty good about it. The other Rebirth book the other Rebirth book that comes out this week was Teen Titans Rebirth #1. That's Damian Wayne, Batman's son, who's going to be forming the Titans. And on the Blades, you've got the Black Kid Flash, you've got Starfire, you've got Raven, who we just saw, and who's that over there? And you got Beast Boy. This one is hold on a second. It's written by Ben Percy and art by John Boy Myers, and it looks pretty interesting. It's got kind of a anime-esque quality to the artwork, but it looks kind of good. And if you like Teen Titans Go, look at that. That's gorgeous, Corey. If you like Teen Titans Go, you might like these, because they're using a lot of the characters from that, even though it's not going to be quite as silly as Teen Titans Go is. Let's see if I can find a Raven picture. Ooh, here's a good shot of Raven. There we go. There's some Raven right there. So, I might have to buy this one too, because I kind of like, and I think Ben Percy and John Boy are the ones who are actually doing the the art and I know Ben Percy is writing it. I think John Boy's doing the artwork for it too. So I mean, it looks good. So, and then of course Damon Wayne is going to be the leader, or so he thinks. You know how it goes. This book again is one that I'm probably not going to continue following after a while because as I said, I got to cut somewhere, and I just never been a real big fan of the character. But I'm still going to get the number 1 of Blue Beetle. Rebirth came out a while back. It's written by Keith Giffen and Scott Collins, and Scott Collins also does the artwork. What's interesting though is that Ted Kord is still alive, but he's not Blue Beetle. He's helping out the Blue Beetle, who is the Mexican kid. I forget what his name is, but Scott Collins always seems to change up his artwork all the time too. It doesn't quite look like it did when he was doing the Flash. So we'll see. Once again, it's up there with Cyborg. It's one of those that, okay, it's interesting looking, but I don't know if I will continue with it. And that, or if the characters can sustain a regular series, considering there's so many other options out there. So it would be number 1. Go ahead, check it out. As I said, you might like it. These are just books that I'm getting. That's not my opinion. Doesn't mean that the book's bad. It just means I'm going to have to I got to find a place to cut because I need to keep my money. One place I'm not cutting is this book. I love this book, Titans number 3. This is the grown-up Teen Titans. Excuse me. Donna Troy, Wally West, Speedy, Nightwing, and Aqualad. Dan Abnett is the writer. Brett Booth is doing the artwork, which is fantastic, and Norm Ratmud is doing the inks. It is the book that is going to be the one you want to keep an eye on because it's going to connect this to the overreaching story of Rebirth, which is about the Watchman, Dr. Manhattan, being the one who created the Rebirth world. So you got Abracadabra, his bad guy, taking on Kadabra. I'm sorry, is the main bad guy, and I think he's going to be introduced in the TV series of the Flash this year. But this is just a great series. Young adults, out on their own for the first time, trying to find their way around things. And it's gorgeous to look at. And as I said, it's going to have an overreaching story arc about the whole Rebirth thing. This is one book you're going to want to keep an eye on. It's Titans number 3. So pick those up. Batgirl number 3 is pretty good. I don't know why it wasn't involved in the Monster Men storyline because she's got her own storyline going on in Japan. That's fine. Hope Larson, Raphael as the writer, Raphael Albuquerque is the author. Barbara is in Japan, learning from a Japanese sensei, and runs into an old friend of hers, and runs into all kinds of trouble, and stuff like that. So, good fun. Batgirl is an interesting series. Barbara's a great character, and you don't often get to see another character away from home like she is here in Japan. So that's a pretty good storyline as well. I kept saying I wasn't going to keep buying this book, but it keeps dragging me back in because I've been hearing nothing but good things about it. And the writer alone is worth admission, but it's Deathstroke number 3. And this is the variant cover. I love the variant cover. It's gorgeous. But Christopher Priest is the writer. Joe Bennett does the pencils. And Bellardino Bravo did the inks from 1 to 10. And Martin Ross did the inks from pages 11 to 20. But this is Slade finding his daughter in a compromising position. It's Rose. That's right. Her name. I was trying to remember what her name was, but it seems to be focusing a little bit on Rose. But Deathstroke is always an interesting character. I've always liked the costume and the fact that you got Christopher Priest, one of the best writers out there, doing it. It's going to keep dragging me in. I just have a feeling it's going to. So check it out for yourself. Deathstroke number 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. I'm going to keep getting this one because I'm a Green Lantern fan, but I'm not a big fan of Hal Jordan, but I am a fan of the others. This is Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps #5. This artwork by Ethan Van Sciver is also fantastic. So you got Ethan Van Sciver doing the artwork on this one, and Robert Venditti is doing the story. Looks like Guy Gardner's getting tortured. Wonderful. There's Sinestro. And all kinds of crazy stuff going on. Get a little bit more exploration with the Corps doing things. And so, but Ethan Van Sciver artwork, you can't go wrong with that. Robert Venditti's been writing Green Lantern now almost as long as Jeff Johns has. It seems like it, and has a good grasp of the character. So, no, I guess that's one reason to keep buying it, because it looks pretty. So I'm not a big Hal Jordan fan, but I am a big fan of the Green Lantern Corps. So it's one of those, we'll see what happens. This book, on the other hand, is fantastic. It's amazing, wonderful. I love reading it. This is Wonder Woman #7. Greg Rucka is doing a great job of writing the series, as he did when he did the series a few years back. What he's doing different about this, it's a bi-weekly book. So he has 2 storylines going on concurrently. The first one is the present day storyline going on right now, where Wonder Woman is teaming up with Cheetah to find Steve Trevor. And the second story that comes next week, or in 2 weeks rather, I should say, will be Wonder Woman Year 1, how she got to where she is. And then 2 weeks later, it'll be the next part of this story. 2 weeks later, next part of the Year 1. So it's gorgeous. And there are different artists on it. Liam Sharp does the artwork for the present day stuff. And Nicola Scott does the artwork for the Year 1 stuff, which also helps because you'll probably get them not having fill-ins, because basically they're having a fill-in every 2 weeks. They're basically doing a monthly book for the most part. So, just some interesting things going on, and we'll see what happens. So, still a good story, enjoying it immensely, and we'll continue to do it. The Flash, I always love the Flash. Flash #7 came out today. See if I can get a good picture of it there. The covers for this series have been amazing, and they keep getting better. There's lots of speedsters in this. It's written by Joshua Williamson with artwork by Carmine Di Giandomenico. And there's rumors that the big villain in this one is going to show up in the Flash TV series this year, and might be played by Tom Felton, who played Draco Malfoy. So we'll see. We don't know. That's just a rumor right now. But you got lots of speedsters, lots of the Flash going on, some Wally stuff as well. I mean, Black Wally, not Wally West White, who's in the Titans. So Flash is pretty good. Flash #7. Detective number 941 is the third part of the Monster Men storyline. I covered the first 2 parts not 20 minutes ago, maybe 30 minutes ago. But here's the third part that came out today. Steve Orlando, as I told you, is pretty much writing the whole thing. He joins forces with the writers of each of the different books. In this case, James Tynion IV does the writing for Detective. Steve Orlando and James Tynion IV did the story. Steve Orlando did the script, and Andy McDonald is the artist. So it's just basically Batman's family taking on giant monsters. So I'm trying to think, what will be the last one? The last part. Are they going to jump up in Batman again? Night of the Monster Men Part 4 and Batman #8. Okay, so I guess Batman #8 will have a couple issues of it. So if you like, as I said, it's the first crossover in the rebirths, and it's just within the Batman series of books: Batman, Nightwing, Detective, and that might be the only 3 that it's going to be involved with. It's not involved with Batgirl. It's not involved with Harley, and probably not All-Star Batman, because Scott Snyder's got his own storyline going with that. Finally, the last Superman book is Action Comics number 964, written by Dan Jurgens, who also wrote, as I said, Batman Beyond earlier, art by Patrick Zurcher. This one is, Clark Kent. There is a Clark Kent out there who is not our Clark Kent. So who is this Clark Kent if the New 52 Superman is dead, and the pre Flashpoint Superman, who's Superman now, is Superman now, so he's Clark Kent also. Who is this Clark Kent? That's what they're trying to figure out. So we'll have to take a look. We'll have to take a look at it and see. I still haven't read Action yet, so I need to get caught up on that. Superman has just been blowing me away, and I just haven't had a chance to read Action. That's it for the main DC series of books. This is another one, just like Manifest Destiny. There's no words. There's not much more I can say about this book. Is Astro City, newest issue, came out number 39. You have to buy it. You have to get Astro City. You have to read every single issue. You got to get the trades. You'll love it. Kurt Busiek this is his opus. Artwork this time is by Carmine Carnero. And it focuses on the Hangman, who is one of the great characters. So Carmine Carnero's artwork is a little bit different than Brent Anderson's, but Brent Anderson can't do a monthly schedule. So I'd rather have a monthly Astro City book than who knows when we're going to get it, even though we'll have Brent Anderson artwork. And Brent Anderson's still doing artwork, though. So let's see if I can get a good picture of Hangman. So Astro City 39, pick it up, get it. I mean, you gotta love it. Alex Ross cover is fantastic. All right, that's it for DC. Marvel, as I said, Civil War is continuing. Kingpin, number 3, I think only has one more issue to go left on it. This is focusing on the villains. It's written by Matthew Rosenberg with art by Ricardo Lopez Ortiz and Hayden Sherman. So, this is what the villains are doing during the time of Civil War while the heroes are busy doing hero stuff. This is what they are doing. So there's some heavy violence in it and stuff like that. But, the Punisher looks like he's in it as well. But it is the Kingpin. It's his story to tell. So we'll see. As I said, I think there's only one more issue of that before that miniseries is done. They're also crossing over into all the series. Captain America, Steve Rogers' Captain America number 5 is a Civil War II crossover. This is Captain Hydra, Adventures of Captain Hydra. It's written by Nick Spencer with art by Javier Pina. So they're still doing the Captain Hydra storyline, but they're throwing him in with Civil War because they can. So I read the first issue and it was interesting, and I just haven't had a chance to read any of the other subsequent issues. So we will check that out. So Steve Rogers, Captain America number 5. Whew, I'm getting tired. Another Civil War II crossover is Totally Awesome Hulk number 10. Written by Greg Pak with art by Mahmoud Asrar. And you got Black Panther, because he was in the Civil War movie. You got Captain Marvel, because she's going to be in her own movie soon enough, and she's one of the instigators of Civil War, as it were. And you got Totally Awesome Hulk in there as well. Good artwork by Ahmed Azrar. So keep going with that. Civil War II crossover, Captain Marvel number 9. My wife loves Captain Marvel number 9. Has read basically every issue since I've gotten back into comics. Christos Gage and Ruth Fletcher Gage are the writers for it. Thony Silas is the artist for this saga. So if you're into Captain Marvel, this is the series for you. And it's a Civil War crossover because, of course, why isn't it? Why not? Finally, the last Marvel I have is Spider-Man Deadpool number 9. Now, I've gone on record as saying I don't like Deadpool at all, but I love Spider-Man. I don't like the character of Deadpool, but I like the movie. And I like when he interacts with Spider-Man, so I figured I'd get this. It's written by Joe Kelly and art by Ed McGuinness, so you really can't go wrong with that. Martin Morales did the inks. So, you've got Spider-Man, Deadpool, and giant monkeys. So pretty cool stuff. And it's Deadpool, and as I said, I like the comic or the movie. So I figured this one's got an interesting creative team, and it's got Spider-Man and Deadpool. So number 9 is out today. one of many Deadpool books that come out through Marvel. I think he's got like 10. Really, I think he does. That's it for Marvel. Finally, my independents. Again, a couple I probably shouldn't have bought, but I just had to because they're cool. But this one surprised me because I was unaware of who the writer was until recently. Josie and the Pussycats #1. Now, Archie's been undergoing a change recently, and I've talked about it in depth a lot lately. They're doing an updated Archie comic written by Mark Waid. They're doing Afterlife with Archie, which is Archie and the zombie apocalypse. They're doing an updated Sabrina as a more of a horror comic instead of a bubbly teenage witch. It's more of a horror-esque book. They're doing a gorgeous Betty and Veronica bi-monthly book by Adam Hughes, but I'll gladly take it bi-monthly if Adam Hughes can draw every single frame of that book. And then you got Josie and the Pussycats #1, which I wasn't going to pick up because I've never really been a big fan of Josie and the Pussycats, but you know what? Marguerite Bennett is the writer, and as soon as you say her name, I got to buy it. So Marguerite Bennett is the writer of Josie and the Pussycats. The artist is Cameron Diordio and Audrey Mock. No, I'm sorry. The story is by Marguerite Bennett and Cameron Diordio, and the artwork is by Audrey Muck. And Audrey Muck's artwork, stunning, gorgeous artwork. And it details how Josie and the Pussycats were formed. And it's just gorgeous artwork. It's Marguerite Bennett. It's Josie and the Pussycats in leopard print. Well, actually, not so much leopard print here, but rock and roll girls, which are hot. And you even get an old style Josie and the Pussycats cartoon in the back also, if you really want to read the old school stuff. These, much like with Betty and Veronica, which I'm talking about right here, issue #2 is coming soon. Gorgeous. Much like with that, this one had multiple covers, and here they all are. I got this one because I liked it the best, but there are some pretty good ones on here. So, who did the one I have? Giselle Lagace did the cover I got. I almost got the Derek Charm one because I like how the yellows are in that one. The Audrey Muck one is pretty nice looking too, which I just noticed about. I got that one because of the leopard print stuff. And Francesco Franciavelli does good stuff also. That's the one right there. It's just old school style. I saw this cover and I thought it was gorgeous, so I picked it up. They're also going to be doing a new TV show coming in the spring, I think, the CW is, which is going to be very similar. It's Riverdale, but they're giving sort of a Twin Peaksy vibe to it, so we'll see. But if this is anywhere as good as Betty and Veronica was, or Afterlife with Archie, I'm picking it. And Sabrina, I'm picking it up. So Josie and the Pussycats, #1. I will definitely be reading that soon. I had to get this book because the title alone is amazing, and it's a team up between Dark Horse Comics and Boom Studios. Tarzan on the Planet of the Apes. Only in comics. You gotta love stuff like this. I had to get this book. It's the first issue of a miniseries. It's written by Tim Seeley and David Walker with art by Fernando Dagnino. I think Boom Studios does the Tarzan book, or the Planet of the Apes book, I'm sorry. And and Dark Horse does Tarzan. Gorgeous artwork. But it's Tarzan on the Planet of the Apes, much like the other book that Dark Horse is doing now, Aliens versus Predator versus Judge Dredd. Amazing. Tarzan on the Planet of the Apes, #1. Pick it up, definitely. I got this one only because I like the series and I'm not that interested in the Revolution because I didn't pick up the ROMs. I should have picked up ROM #3 and ROM Revolution because I like ROM, but I didn't have the money. Maybe I'll pick it up this weekend. But I didn't get, so those came out last week. I didn't pick those up, but I had to pick this up this week. Mask is back in comic form. Remember Mask? Am I showing my age here? Mask was these cool cars which had all kinds of weapons and flew and all kinds of wild stuff. So Mask is in comic form again. And Revolution is basically they're going to connect Micronauts, ROM, Mask, I think G.I. Joe, Transformers all into one concurrent universe, shared universe, as it were, like the MCU. It's written by Brandon Easton with art by Tony Vargas. Now, I said I'm not. I'm probably not going to continue to collect it, but it's Mask. It's Mask, man, and I really need. Even though I said I don't need to get it, I should probably pick up the ROMs because I like ROMs. But with the way Mask is the toys were awesome, and you got kind of cool costumes and helmets and stuff like that, and really cool characters, and I guess they're going to be a regular series then. So might have to check that out, but I had to get it because I'm a big loser. I don't know why I picked this up either, because it looked like a lot of fun. And again, I'm probably not going to continue with it, but I just wanted to get it also. It's from Disney Comics. It's Pirates of the Caribbean #1. Chris Schweizer and illustrated by Joe Flood. It's Pirates of the Caribbean. So I just had to just read it and see what they're going to be doing with it. This company, it's Joe Books Limited. They have the right to Disney, so they're doing a lot of different Disney books. But I had to pick up Pirates of the Caribbean just because #1. It came out this week, so why not? As I was talking about with Britannia, #1, when I was talking about the books from last week, Generation Zero #2, Generation Zero #1 came out last month, and I talked about that a little bit too. This is from the Valiant Studios, and it's an offshoot of the Valiant universe. I don't think it's connected to the Valiant universe in general. It's written by Fred Van Lent with artwork by Francis Portela. This is probably one I'm probably not going to continue to pick up, but I figured, pick up the second issue, see and read it, see if you like it. So we'll see. It's high school kids who fix things and do things and save the day and stuff like that. So we'll see. Generation Zero #2. This is a great book, Cryptocracy. Cryptocracy #4. Latest issue came out this week. It's Van Jensen with art by Pete Woods. Just all you need to know is there's 9 or 12 different groups that actually run the country and keep things under wraps, and they're being hunted now. That's all I need to know about it right now. So pretty cool. It's good artwork. It's a good storyline. And really enjoy it immensely. I don't think I've read the newest issue yet, though, so I got to get caught up. Gail Simone, much like Marguerite Bennett, Gail Simone is like Marguerite Bennett. Whenever I see her name on anything, I try to read it because I love Gail Simone stuff. This is her violent superhero book, Megalopolis. This is Surviving Megalopolis. It was Leaving Megalopolis was the first storyline. Now it's Surviving Megalopolis. It's Gail Simone's creator-owned book that she does with Jim Calafor. It is highly violent. It's hugely violent. So, but it's pretty to look at, and it focuses on bad guys. So you gotta love that. It's you're not your typical superhero book, but this is #6. Pick up the one shot. It came originally in like a hardcover graphic novel, and then they did the first 5 issues. Was pretty good, so I have all those. Finally, this book has always been really good too. They had their first storyline, which sort of lost me a little bit, but now I seem to be getting back to what originally was. This is Back to the Future #12. Back to the Future originally was just going to be sort of like a FAQ, frequently asked questions about, how did Marty meet Doc and stuff like that. They've been doing that stuff. This one details how Needles and Marty became enemies. So people have always wondered about it, and now you know. It's written by John Barber and Bob Gale. Bob Gale was the guy who wrote the original Back to the Future comic or movie, and art by Emma Vicelli. So in this case, we have Marty. We learn about Marty's how he and Needles their rivalry or whatever came to pass. So Back to the Future, number 12. That, my friends, is the haul. I did it within an hour, I think. Yes, I did within an hour. I started around 10:08, 10:09, and it's now 10:03. So I did under an hour. Those are my comics for this week and for last week. Hopefully I'll get back to a weekly schedule next week, which will be in October, and hopefully I'll start cutting down on my comics. So we'll see if that's the case. I don't know, probably not, but we'll see. Anyway, keep watching. Thank you for watching. Go to your comic book store. Go this weekend. Buy any of the books I showed you just now, or any of the books I showed you half hour ago. They should all be available. Also go check out stuff. Stores nowadays are different. They've got all kinds of different things, not just comics. They got books, they got toys, they got all kinds of gaming stuff. They got all kinds of stuff. So just go to your local comic book store, check it out, pick up some new books, pick up some trades. Astro City, Manifest Destiny. To begin with, Rebirth. As I said, there's a ton of number ones out there now. If you want to get on the ground floor on a storyline, pick it up now. On that note, I'm done. Dylan knows my regular show that I do, my weekly show, which is in its 4th year now, is probably going to be on Sunday this week. Another solo show. I haven't figured out the theme of it yet. I'm not going to do Saturday because the whole month of Saturday is October 1st, and every Saturday in October, Sci-Fi is doing movies, so I'll be watching them at night instead of doing my show. So Sunday was when I originally was doing my show. Sundays at 12:30. So around Sunday 12:30, my new show, my newest episode of Dylan Knows will be out. And then next Thursday, not tomorrow, next Thursday should be a new episode of The Snooze, another show that I do with Tony Solo. We're talking about Snarkalic news and other pop culture stuff. That's a monthly, so it only comes out once a month. We'll probably be detailing Walking Dead since that's only coming out in about 3 weeks. So on that note, I'm done my comic haul. Enjoy. Go read comics. Go read them, buy them, collect them, have fun with them. And there are all kinds out there. So pick them up and have fun. See you guys. Sound check.